Welcome back, everyone, to our channel. That's Nikki, and I'm John.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. A segment called Big Fat Stoner Films. And not necessarily films that have to deal with marijuana, but more or less movies that we find quite funny while we're high. And this is one that you can enjoy with the innuendo in it and while being high. Dazed and Confused, 1993, written and directed by Richard Linklater. This cast is huge. Matthew McConaughey, Jason London, Mila Jovovich. Sorry if I said that incorrectly. Ben Affleck. It just keeps going and going and going. It's such a great cast. It's supposed to be back in 1976, the summer of 1976 in Texas. And this is just the beginning, last day of school. This was made in 1993, but they really captured the 76 look, feel. God, the soundtrack. Actually, there's two soundtracks. This is so good.
Yeah, soundtrack.
I mean, when a movie has a good soundtrack, yeah, I'm there.
We're there.
Like they picked out every score, every song was perfectly picked within the movie and for the soundtrack, because the soundtrack obviously has more songs in it, I think, than the movie does. I think they picked them out perfectly for each scene. It really paints the scene for what it was like back then, because like they're showing up at parties that got canceled, but no one knows, because guess what? There was no internet or Facebook or Instagram or anything for them to say, hey, party's canceled. Kids are showing up to the parents' house, and the dad opens the door, and he's like, they're like, oh, they run away. That's how things were back then.
And you just drove around all night just looking for shit to do. I mean, that's what you did. You went out, and you didn't really look for trouble, so to speak, but you just looked for shit to do. You know, and then you would have parties in the woods, because that's what you fucking did, you know?
We used to party by what we called the tower. It was a big, it all messed up. Hopefully my mom and dad aren't watching this. If they are, sorry. Yeah. I mean, you should already know this by now.
How's it going? It sucks!
I tallied up how many times they say man.
It's your party tonight, man.
9:30, man.
9:30. Okay. I'll be there, man.
If you've seen this movie, and if you haven't seen this movie, you should watch this movie, and maybe you can try to count all the mans as well. I got a calculation of 181, although the internet people will tell you it's 203. I don't know where they got that number. I obviously missed some, but how did I miss 20 some of them? I don't know. So let's see what number you guys can get. And not only did I do that tally, I got another tally chart too. I can't remember the character's name, but how many times he touches his face or flicks his hair behind his ear. I calculated up all those, and that's 39 times.
Man, God, no wonder.
I don't know if that's been written on IMDb or not, but 39 times he touches his face / hair. I ask you in the comments to prove me wrong. Go watch the movie and make these counts and tell me what your numbers are.
Okay. The word fuck is said 59 times in this movie, according to IMDb. A sixth of the budget of this film went to all of those great songs, to pay for them, to use them, and they go really well and they fit. So yeah, those two soundtracks are pretty good. Matthew McConaughey's father had died early in filming. Their production was shut down, you know, people attended it, you know, and was there for him. But the living quote that Wooderson says is like,
you just gotta keep living, man.
Livin. That was inspired from something that Matthew's father would say, and that was like an ad lib there. And I thought that was sweet. Yeah.
That's a very nice nod to his dad during that time.
Yeah. Sean Andrews and Jason London, who play Pickford and Pink, they really did not get along in real life. There was actually a fight between them that production broke up between the two.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, they did not like each other. Shawn Andrews and Mila Jovovich, they eloped in Vegas while they were filming this movie. Mila at the time was only 16. The parents found out and had the marriage annulled.
Okay.
Most of Mila's lines were cut from the film, even though she is featured on the movie poster. She was so upset that I think it was like 96% of her lines. She doesn't say much in the final cut. So when she found out about it, Mila was very hurt and she decided to stop acting. She worked on her music career until she did The Fifth Element. I think that was 97. So she took a break from it. She was so upset, which kind of sucks. You know, she's on the movie poster. You expect her to have more lines with the guys that are on the poster.
The movie I have, she's right here.
Yeah.
Like,
and she's part of the opening scene. Like, she's one of the first people that you see. 3 girls go to the bathroom and they smoke a cigarette and they're talking about Gilligan's Island. Jodie Kramer goes to sit on the sink, and right behind her head, there is graffiti that says Jodie Kramer is stuck up. I just thought that was... It's
funny that like they obviously purposely put her on in that spot to see that, you know.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey's very famous line, all right, all right. Everybody knows that one. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you know it. That was ad-libbed because he was listening to...
This is something, there's some, I think it's a live album in like Copenhagen or something, and Morrison's like, all right, all right, all right, all right. He barks it out like 4 times. And who's Wooderson? What am I? And I go, well, what am I about? I said, I'm about my car. I said, I'm about getting high. I said, I'm about rock and roll. There we go. Well, the 4th thing I'm about is chicks. And in my mind, I said, well, you got 3 out of 4. All right, all right, all right.
And he would listen to it before he going into that scene. And he just was like, all right. Ben Affleck shattered his ankle during the paint scene where he gets covered in paint and he breaks the paddle. You can see he spins on his ankle. He must have, you know, but he shattered it, which was just, oof,
and he still walked away as a trooper without
breaking character. Yeah.
But that's also the last time we see his character in the movie too.
Linklater, he had trouble cutting the movie down because he liked it so much. So the first initial, I guess, where he felt the film was okay was 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Holy.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, so he cut a lot of it out. There was a lot of scenes that were just, I guess, just didn't make the cut and weren't interesting enough. But you said that you have the DVD that has some of those scenes in it.
Some of them, but obviously not all of them, because I think there's only nine deleted scenes they show us, and it is not equaling to like an hour. But some of them were definitely don't progress the story or the characters at all.
Right.
I can understand why they cut them out.
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, that must suck, because you're making something that you really enjoy and you think is going to be good, but then you have to cut it down. So then you're like, oh shit, like what can I get rid of? But I love everything. That's so difficult.
That is a very hard decision to make, especially if some scenes like actually add to the story or to the characters, but you're like, it's kind of unnecessary, so I can cut it out, but man, that's a good scene, or it's a good line, or a funny joke or something, you know?
Yeah. It's hard to let that stuff go. 3.7. I think it's pretty good for me. So.
Okay. That's pretty high, yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3.9.
Wow. Okay.
It's I really enjoyed the rewatch of this movie. Even though I know everything that's going to happen, all the lines, I anticipate some of the lines. They're really funny. Definitely a lot of rewatchability and a good insight to what life could have been like on the last day of school in the 70s. Much different from today. 3.9.
Completely different world. All right. Next week,
we're jumping back into the Marvel world, the MCU, but we're not going to just jump into anything. We're going to jump into one of the best trilogy segments of the MCU. We're going to hit up the Guardians of the Galaxy
2 and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we're gonna jump them all in one because, well, they are kind of one massive cohesive story.
Yeah.
So just go with that. Even though some other stuff happens with their characters in between some of these movies, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to focus on their stories, their movies. Please comment, hit the notification bell.
Like, subscribe.
Until next time. Bye.
It's my little Russian lady. Are you getting ready for hot date? Please be back by 10 p.m. And don't let anybody touch your